Welcome, episode 7.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
This is Healing Uncut.
The podcast about the messy side of healing.
Definitely.
We
I'm your healing host, Dream.
and I'm your host, ChrisE. Welcome, Heal Babes.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all been hanging in with us for quite a while now, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. And I really hope that you're getting something as we pour out and share our journey and our experiences. So
Most definitely.
let's get into it.
Okay.
That's how you feeling, Dream.
Um, well, as you can tell, I'm a little stuffy. I don't know if it's the weather or what's going on, but yeah, try to take me out, but I'm still here. But other than that, right now I feel hopeful. Um, I would say I feel hopeful. That falls under happy. Um, because my leave of absence from grad school is almost over. So I'm really excited. Um, I sat down with my advisor earlier this week and looked at my final classes that I need. So I'm like kind of in the process of trying to prepare for the upcoming semester. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about my program being almost over.
Yeah.
And then I'm excited about this. So I'm just at a space to where I'm just hopeful for the future. I have a positive outlook. I definitely feel like everything that we're doing is going to be successful. So I'm feeling real good. How are you feeling though?
I am feeling anxious. I'm
Okay.
like, um, I woke up today and I was just like, wow, we are really about to launch. Like, oh my God. And I am hopeful, I am optimistic, but there is a level of just like, okay, I hope it goes well. Um, you know, anxiety be trying to peek his head, and I'm just like, I just want to stay in a good space, keep
All
doing what
right.
we've been doing. Like, we've been showing up, we've been putting the work in. So it's just like, just let it, continue doing that. Trust the process, I guess. So just like I'm excited and anxious. I'm excited and anxious
Yeah.
right now.
It's a lot of emotions, but like you said, we've been showing up, we've been making moves, so I'm just excited to see, what's to come. So yes. So happy. So tell them what we're talking about today.
Okay. Why didn't I know this when I started my healing journey? you know, when you begin to start healing, I'm not sure what other people expected, but I was like, oh, I'm going to become, I'm going to be the best version of myself. I'm going to, heal that wounded little Chrissy inside, and I'm ready to take over the world. And I thought it was like a linear process. Not at all. Not, you can't, it's not just like, oh, you do these 5 steps, ta-da, you're healed. Like, it don't work like that. So I got a lot to say about this topic. It's very interesting, and I'm sure that our listeners, they're definitely going to feel us on this one, because it's just like, girl, what?
Uh-huh.
What about you?
Um, well, I would say similar. I mean, honestly, when I started this healing journey, I really didn't know much. I just knew that a couple things. I knew that I had some childhood trauma that I had never really addressed that I needed to figure out.
Mhm.
I was recently separated, so I knew like I had to get my thoughts together because I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna get married again. Like I don't ever want to be in a relationship like this. So why did I like him? Why did I stay in that situation? I need to figure out what not to do again. So that's pretty much really all I knew. Um, and I just kind of took it from there. I didn't really know what to expect. It was just like you said, okay, heal my inner child. Okay, bet. Like, okay, so this is the result of child. I just started learning all these things, kind of like putting pieces together,
Mhm.
um, correlating things, and I'm like, all right, but I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what life would look like. Didn't know how the people around me would respond. Um, yeah, I mean, kind of just dove in head first for real. Never looked back, but definitely, like you said, it's definitely ups and downs.
Yes.
But definitely glad I took that leap of faith and did it nonetheless.
So I think the first thing that we want to express to y'all is once you start a healing journey, there is no final destination. It doesn't end. You keep evolving, you keep changing, you're going to keep learning. So this is a lifelong commitment.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they knew that.
Honestly, when you first start, you feel like you said, one day I'm gonna wake up and I'm just gonna be the best version of myself, the new version of myself. And that is true. But you're honestly committed to being a lifelong learner because it's always going to be more to learn. You're always, going to be involving. You're going to be in new relationships or find yourself in new spaces to where you're going to have to like adapt or adjust or, it's definitely a lifelong journey. So definitely no final destination. I guess the destination is wholeness. Like that's something I kind of like remind myself, like just
Mhm.
to be whole, just to kind of repair the parts of me that are broken or that are filled with shame and pain. So yes, you get to a space to where you have more positive feelings and are able to better like communicate things, but it just continues.
Definitely.
Most
Um, let's see. It makes me think while you're going on this healing journey, um, one thing that I did not know about the healing journey is that your how do I say it? So the outcome may not be what you think. Your
definitely.
expectation of an outcome, um, that may not happen. And so
Right.
specifically talking about if you think like, oh, in order to heal, I need closure, I need this person to forgive, I need to forgive them, but I need them to apologize. I need them to spell out their wrongs and know what they did to me and how it made me feel. Um,
Right.
that's more than likely not going to happen because once you start a healing journey does not mean that other people are going to be on the same level, same page. They're not going to be in the same space that you're in. So that could look like they may not accept it. They may they may, lash out. It's a number of different things, but one thing that I would tell our hill bays is don't have an expectation that, you know, it's going to flow, especially with apologies and when you're looking for forgiveness. Know that you're looking for forgiveness for you so that you can move on. That other
Right.
person truly, if they're not in the space, it's not going to happen. And that was a tough one for me to swallow.
Mhm. Even with that, just to go a step further, um, some of those people that have hurt you, either like presently or in the past,
Mhm.
um, you may lose them along the way because of the fact that they aren't on the same page as you when it comes to your healing, or they still view you as the person who you were before you started healing. They kind of try to keep you in that space, try to like interact with you as if you're still that same person. So you may notice that your support system will get smaller. And that could even look like them falling off, or it could look like you taking yourself away from them, because at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you and what's gonna, be conducive to your healing. If there's a person that was in your inner circle that is going to have you in environments where you need to heal from, or that know you should not be in, or if they aren't like with you and pouring into you like positivity or encouragement that you need, then you're probably at some point going to feel like you've outgrown them, and that's totally okay. It's going to take like some grieving, but ultimately it's going to be what's best. But I would say definitely don't focus on all the people who left or who didn't show up for you, who aren't showing up for you as you're on the journey. Just like appreciate the people who are there, the people who are able to give you like positive feedback, or you can ask questions. Like for me, I would always ask my friends, like, how am I supposed to feel? Like, am I supposed to feel like this? Like, is this normal? Because I'm coming from a place where I've never really, knew emotions like that. So when I was in these new situations, I'm like, wait, how am I supposed to feel? Because I've been emotionally numb for years. So I'm like, but I also trusted these people, and they knew what journey that I was on, and I knew that they always would have my best interest in mind. So I definitely like appreciated having them, and I knew they had my back. So keep your focus on the people that are there. Grieve the people that are gone. And some of them might be family members. I mean, just to be honest, you never know. It may be parents, siblings, cousins, best friends. It could be anybody. It could even be a job, to be honest. You
Yeah.
know, but grieve it, but definitely make sure that you're putting more focus on the people who are there, like supporting you in your corner. But yeah, definitely.
I love
Definitely.
love that, love that. Um, moving on to the next one. This so earlier I mentioned that the journey is not linear. And so there's going to be times where you're confused. There's going to be times where you want to go back to what's comfortable, to what's familiar, and you're going to make those mistakes. And so you have to give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace. I don't know. You have to give yourself grace. Is
Right.
um it's an innate response to go back to what's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And even in doing that, something that I've noticed is it may not sit right in your spirit, like you said, going into environments that you were trying to heal from, but maybe you're used to people pleasing, or you're that yes person. So it's like, okay, yes, I'm gonna go out, yes, I'm gonna go to this place, yes, I'm gonna spend this money, and the whole time your spirit is in turmoil on the inside because this is actually what you're trying to heal from. So it can be confusing. I think those two, like your support system and how it changes, that can be confusing. It can be like, oh, like you said, siblings, your cousins, your best friends. If they're not encouraging you and supporting you where you're trying to go and what you know is better, that
Right.
can be confusing. And sometimes you can, like, try to go back, you can try to bring them along, but at the end of the day it becomes like a detriment to yourself. And so just as you're going through that process, like Dream said, you're gonna have to grieve because everybody's not going to come with you. Everybody's not going to support you. And just give yourself grace along those lines.
Right. And as you start to heal, you're able to kind of self-reflect, and you'll kind of see like the role that you played in your own suffering. That's something major that you kind of learned. I feel like towards the beginning, at least I did. So that way I could see, okay, these relationships, I was pouring a lot into these relationships. Were they really pouring into me the way I was pouring into them? Like, or was I just afraid to be alone? So I just kind of hung in there, went with the flow, just went with the okie doke. So there's just certain things that you kind of learn along the way. And you're going to make mistakes, especially like in dating. I know for me, I was making mistakes. I'm like, because it was all new. You have to learn. The only way that you're going to get better is, putting yourself in new relationships, healthy relationships. So even learning what that looks like, learning what that feels like. And it's a process, it's a journey. So, like Chrissy said, give yourself grace. Get that in your mind. Say that every day when you wake up. Like, Lord, thank you for waking me up. And like, I'm gonna give myself grace today. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but whatever it is, I'm gonna give myself grace. It's like I used to struggle with just like keeping myself together, regulating my emotions, responding to my triggers. That was major for me.
Yeah.
And I used to slip. So at times I'm like, dang, like I wasn't supposed to react like that, or I shouldn't have said that to him. But I couldn't catch myself. So instead of like beating myself up, being all like sad about it, that might have taken a second just to like, all right. But after that, I'm like, it's cool because I'm a lot better than where I used to be. And I'm giving myself grace because I know I'm healing, I'm learning. I'm going to slip sometimes, but always give yourself grace. Don't forget that part, you know? And trust your emotions. That's another thing we're going to talk about. Like, your emotions are going to be up and down. And especially if you're a trauma survivor, you're probably not even used to expressing your emotions. You might not even, you might have been emotionally numb to where you didn't feel anything forever since you were a kid. So all of these are going to be new. All of these emotions are going to like flood you. You have to get used to sitting with them so that you know what it actually feels like. So what does love feel like? What does happiness feel like? Like, oh, that's how, we every day, every episode, we start off with checking in with our emotions so that way we get comfortable with what we're feeling. So just get in that same habit of recognizing what you feel. Um, just listen to it, but I wouldn't say just don't stay there too long. Honestly, I would think the best thing is to just jot down how you feel on a daily. We talk about journaling a lot, and Christy is really good about that. But your emotions gonna change. They could change day to day. They could change from minute to minute. Like I could be sitting here happy, and then something happened, and the co-parents, and I'm pissed off. So, like, trust them. Trust what you feel. Like, but just don't stay there too long. You know but yeah, so that's what I would say when it comes down to your emotions. What you think?
I like everything you said. And when you talked about, man, I wasn't supposed to go off like that. That's in reflection, you're understanding your triggers. And so in knowing that you have triggers, I think it's good to realize that you will shift in and out of survival mode.
Mm.
You will shift in and out. Something that I had to learn along the healing journey, like I think I think it was easier for me to start identifying the emotions once I learned. So just for an example, it's like I clench my fists. Um like different things that I do. What else would I do? I hold my breath and I don't even sometimes I don't realize it. Like like if I had to learn like these different triggers, or do you feel your heartbeat starting to race? Like do you feel yourself getting hot?
Mm.
So yes, learn your emotions, but just know like sometimes triggers are going to come out of nowhere and then automatically you're going to shift back into survival mode and you're going to be defensive. And that may be one of those times where it's just like, oh, you got cursed out. I didn't feel
Mm.
safe. Like you did X, Y, and Z. I no longer felt safe. And so I immediately react because it was automatic for me to go back into survival mode.
Right.
So the key to that is knowing, like, not even like knowing, but understanding. This comes like, I think everything kind of just plays in with each other because you have to give yourself grace. You have to be like, you know, when somebody slammed their hands on the table, it took me like it took me back somewhere else, and I was like, I'm ready to
Right.
eat this instant. Like, like, did you just hit that table? Oh,
Right.
oh, okay. Welcome to Buffalo.
Okay. I'm about to be real disrespectful. Not soft at all.
So it's and who knew like who knew like, and that's just a personal example for me, but like who knew that the childhood like physical abuse makes so, loud noises, bangs automatically puts me on edge. I had to learn that in order to like learn how to control my emotions so I don't revert completely back into survival mode. It's so much, it's so many different so many different facets where, everything kind of connects. But one thing I didn't know when I was healing, that I was slipping in and out. And it'd be like, dang.
Right.
Buffalo came. She
Uh,
she came and she chopped you down. I'm sorry.
okay. And sometimes survival mode could look like grind mode. Cause like for me, like I'm similar to where you were just talking about, but sometimes like on this journey, I definitely found myself being in like super grind mode to where I'm like, oh, I'm definitely back in survival mode again. Like I don't have no extra energy. I don't have nothing to pour into nobody, no dating situations, really not no friends. I mean, the people, of course, in my close support system, yeah. Like, am I on Instagram? Maybe, but not really. Like right now, no. I'm thinking about surviving. I'm thinking about where's money coming from. I'm thinking about making sure my kids are good. Like, I'm thinking about all these things are happening at once, and I need to figure out a way to get it done. Or like so many negative things are happening, and I'm just like about to lose my mind. So like you may find yourself like in situations like that. And it's just like, oh snap! Like I didn't even know that I was like in that space again. So it may just come up out of nowhere, or you may recognize like for me, I was in a space to where I'm like, oh, I'm about to have to quit this job. I know I'm about to be in survival mode. As soon as like the next pay period come around, I ain't get no check. I'm gonna be in survival mode because at that point I'm like, okay, like I gotta figure some things out. So like you kind of once you get to a space, you could kind of know how you're going to react, and you can kind of prepare yourself. I mean, your survival mode is what your survival mode is, but once you begin healing, you got those tools still in your toolbox, so that way you'll just approach it differently, and you'll remember, okay, yes, I'm in survival mode right now, but I'm giving myself grace. I can still communicate with those around me and let them know where I'm at and why I am responding or not responding the way I am, or why today I'm just gonna stay in the bed like I'm not here for it, or why I'm sitting up here looking crazy. I ain't got my lashes done in a minute. Like, so it's just like you just approach it differently. So don't think as you go through the journey and you find yourself back in the space that you don't necessarily like, that it's something wrong or you messing up the healing or it's not working anymore. It's working.
It's
You,
working.
the key it's definitely still working. The key is to use those tools and just know like that period is not gonna last always, and just remind yourself that you're safe, that you still that I'm trying not to curse y'all. That's something that God's working on. I was just want to be like, you still at age.
Yeah, you
But I mean, like,
like,
right. Bad females still have, bad days. So you just gotta kind of still remind yourself, like, until your body, your mind, and all that is all on one accord, and you back to where you feel most comfortable.
mm,
So don't forget that part. Give yourself grace. We keep saying it over and over. So hopefully you're picking that up. You wrote that down
major.
because you're gonna have to remind yourself. And let's see what else. I think we had one more, which we already kind of talked about this in another episode, but um taking a sabbatical with your heart. So some of us are dating, some people start healing after marriage, or some people got engaged and it ain't work out. So you kind of healing from those relationships. So that's kind of a part of your healing. It is very important to make sure that you take that time out from dating, from entertaining, if need be, probably so, from having sex, that all of that. Um, just so that way you can focus on yourself and get your thoughts together. Work on putting them tools in your toolbox because you need that time. You need to figure out what makes you you. You
Mhm.
need to figure out what makes you tick. What are those triggers? How do you typically respond? So just kind of take that time just to pour into yourself. It's most definitely needed. So don't forget that part.
It is. I think that it's a crucial thing. The fact that you already want to begin healing, you're in a different space than you were prior to making that decision. So that means that you are changing, you're evolving. You really have to sit with yourself and reflect, like, do I like this? Do I, or I don't like this? How do I show up? Why do I show
Mhm.
up this way? You have to, if you have outside distractions, the D is an outside distraction. I'm not gonna, I don't, it
The
is.
D is very distracting. It'll make you try to make compromises on stuff you should not be compromising on, and then you're gonna be pissed off about it. So then you're back in that cycle again. You want to fight, not being soft. So D is distracting.
It's
Sorry.
like, I'm like, I'm not even gonna flex. Like, very comfortable in my sexuality, but you have to,
Same.
you gotta take some time off. You gotta cut them off. And
Right.
really, when you think about it, it's just like, why did I settle for this? Or why would I allow that to occur? Or, where are my
Right.
boundaries? And we
Mhm.
can justify and spin the story however we want to spin it. Like, I'm just focusing on me. It still comes back to a place of self-worth and how you feel about yourself. Um,
Right.
until you are like really strong and confident in that space, you need to take a step back.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say.
You speaking good. I feel like we've been speaking real good today. I hope that you all have been getting what y'all needed. There's a lot more tips or things that we wish we knew, and if there's any that you thought think about or have thought about since we've been talking, definitely let us know. Make sure you fill out the form on Instagram, so that way we could talk about it and share with all our other listeners. But yeah, like this definitely, I think if I would have known some of these things, it wouldn't have really made the journey easier. It just would have like been helpful, when I approached it, to not think that I was messing up,
Mm,
to just to know that this is normal. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So hopefully, you now know that some of the things that we talked about, like, it's normal. It's gonna happen. It's happened to a lot of us.
mm,
Um, Hopefully, it makes the journey a little bit more comfortable. It's not going to be easy by any means. Not going to be easy, but
Oh,
hopefully more comfortable. So you feel like okay, you're not alone because you're not, and we're talking about it. That's why we're here. But
okay.
yes,
So
but yeah,
let's to it.
okay.
All
What would Jesus say today
right,
about
Jesus.
this?
What would he say?
What would the Lord say?
And I went to Psalms 23, verse 4. Psalms 23, it's a Christian favorite, I could say. But verse 4 says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. And just know that while you're going through this healing journey, God is with you. He is pour out your emotions on him. Tell him everything. Write it down. If you don't want to talk out loud, you feel weird talking to Sky Daddy. Okay, write him a letter. You know what I'm saying? Like, but just journal to him and just know that he is with you throughout this entire process. And his grace is sufficient, so give yourself grace. That's what it says.
Amen. We've said it so many times. So if you don't get nothing else, please make sure that you got the fact that you need to give yourself grace every day, every single day, and every night. Just, just do it. I hope that you were blessed by this.
All
This is
right.
definitely good for me and my soul.
It is. Until next time, I'm ChrisE.
And I am Dream. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Healing Undercut Podcast.
Tune in every Wednesday. See you next time.
Bye bye.